Welcome back to a new video. In this video, we are going to talk about chains in LangChain. Let's start coding. So I'm at VS Code right now. I prefer VS Code. You can prefer any code editor that you want. It can be PyCharm, Spider, Google Colab. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. As soon as you can create a Jupyter notebook, we are good to go. So we are going to start by creating a notebook. Let's say chains.ipynb. And then in here, I'm going to select the kernel. This one, Python 3.11.4. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the LangChain version I have installed on my environment right now. Like I can do that from both here, pip show LangChain. So it's 0 to 12, and also I can do it from here, like import LangChain, and then we can say LangChain.version. By the way, you can apply this for all of the libraries. And here we can see, I'm not sure of them are putting that, but the main ones are like pandas, numpy, always put this version feature. So this is 0 to 12. So with updates on the libraries, the versions, like the codes and codes working behind them can change, and maybe the codes that are working in this video can't work on you, like if there's a change between the versions, so it's safe to install the same version with me. So you can do that by pip install LangChain and specifying the version like this. Also for Mac, pip3 install LangChain 0 to 12 from the terminal. You need to write it from here, and then you are going to be good to go. So let's talk about chains. Chains in LangChain allow you to combine multiple components like prompts, models, and tools in sequence to achieve a more complex task. So let's do our imports now. We will say from LangChain, we are going to import prompt template and large language model chain. And I'm going to use an OpenAI model from LangChain.llms. Import OpenAI. And these are going to be our imports. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to create something like API key. And in here it starts with SK and something like this. You can get that from the OpenAI's API website. You can simply type OpenAI API Playground and it's going to direct you to the site, and when you open your account they gift you $5, so you can use that $5 for this video. This video won't cost too much. I think it's going to be about $1 if you want to add budget to your OpenAI account, and if you add balance to your account, you can use any model that you want from OpenAI API. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to paste my API key in here. I'm going to run the cell like this. I'm going to set my API key. Then I'm going to be starting to recording again, but I'm not going to show you my API key, but you can get your own from the OpenAI website. It's free to create an API key. Okay, great. See you in a minute. Okay, now we are good to go. So what we are going to do is we are going to initialize the language model that we are going to use. So we are going to say large language model is going to be OpenAI, and we will say API key is going to be our API key like this. And here it is. So I don't want to get any type of depreciation errors in my code. So what I'm going to do is I will say import warnings, and then I will say warnings dot filter warnings ignore like this. And when I do that, I'm not going to get any type of this kind of depreciation because it's not important. Okay, so now we are going to create an example prompt template. So prompt template is going to structure the interaction with our large language model. So we will say like prompt template, and it's going to be the prompt template in here, and we will say input variables. We are going to make examples in this video. It's going to be a simple one. I will say question, it's for showing you the structure, and then template is going to be question, and it's going to be dynamic. We will give the question in here, and we are going to get answer, like let's add like 3 of this, and we can do question like this, and answer is going to be in here. So I will say answer like this. So this is going to be a basic prompt template. We are going to do that, and next we will create a chain. So we are going to use large language model chain that we imported for creating the chain, and it's going to use the prompt template and the language model we set up earlier. This chain takes a question, applies the prompt template, and then uses the large language model to generate an answer. So that's going to be its task. So we will say chain is going to be large language model chain, and we will give large language model as LLM we defined upper side, this one. And next prompt is going to be the prompt template. We defined it in here. So I'm going to run this. Then what we are going to do is we are going to run the chain, which means that we are going to use our language model to get an answer to our question with this prompt template. So let's do it. So I will say question is going to be, what is the capital of France? And next I will say answer, and it's going to be chain.run. We are going to use run command for running the chain, and we are going to give the question in here. And now we can print our answer and see what it prints. So the capital of France is Paris. So we can do this like question, how to get more followers on social media. And let's do like answer chain.run, and we will pass our question. Next what I'm going to do is I will say print answer, and let's see our answer. So it says post quality content. I'm not going to read all of that stuff. I'm just going to check the first parts, like use hashtags, engage with others, collaborate with influencer, run social media contests, and utilize social media ads, engage with your followers. Okay, nice. So next we are going to talk about customizing the chains. So we can modify the chain by changing the prompt template or the input parameters. For instance, you can make the chain respond in a specific style or format by adjusting the prompt. So let's do that. I will say custom prompt template, and it's going to be prompt template input variables. Let's say only question, and for the template side, let's say like, let me think a second, answer the following question, like you are an expert on creating events and you will be talking with your experience, like I advise this because I know, that kind of. Okay, so this is going to be our prompt, and no arithmetic error, like this. And next what we are going to say is we are going to specify the question and answer. So question will be dynamic, like this, and answer is going to be empty, like this. Now I'm going to delete one space in here. I'm going to make this run, and let's read it. Answer the following question, like you are an expert on creating events and you will be talking with your experience, like I advise this because I know blah blah. Okay, so let's test that. So we will say custom chain, and we are going to create our chain like large language model chain, and we will say large language model is going to be large language model, and the prompt is going to be custom prompt template, and then custom answer is going to be like custom chain dot run, and we will give like we are going to plan like a business meeting for investors, help us plan that, and let's see how it's working. So we are going to get our answer in seconds, and we can print custom answer like this. And as we specified, it starts with I advise this because I know that. So it seems like it has been working. So let's see if it's talking with experience. So I advise this because I know that planning a business meeting for investors is not an easy task. First and foremost, It's important to have a clear goal and objective for the meeting. This will help guide the planning process and ensure that the meeting is productive and efficient. Next, it is crucial to choose the right venue for the meeting. The location should be easily accessible for all attendees and have the necessary facilities and amenities for a successful meeting. It's also important to consider the size of the venue and make sure it can be accommodate the number of attendees comfortably. In terms of timing, I suggest planning the meeting during weekday and avoiding major holidays. So I'm going to go to right. Let me find where was it. Major holidays to ensure maximum attendance. Additionally, it's important to create a detailed agenda and share it with all attendees beforehand. This will give them a clear idea of what to expect and help keep the meeting on track. As for the actual event, I recommend having a mix of presentations, interactive activities, and networking opportunities to keep attendees engaged and interested. It's also important to provide refreshments and breaks throughout the meeting to keep attendees energized. Lastly, I advise having a post-meeting follow-up plan in place. This can include sending out meeting minutes, following up on action items and next steps, and soliciting feedback from attendees. So, the answer is looking really good, and we can see that at the last side, the token limit is end on there for that model. So, I think this was a great response as an experienced event planner, and the advices were really good, and I think we are good to go from this step since this was really good. Okay. We can create more complex chains by combining multiple large language model chain instances or integrating other components like tools or memories. So, we can create a simple workflow that takes a user's input, generates a response, and then reformats that response for a specific style. So, we are going to create an example, and it's going to use two chains, one to answer a question and another to format the answer in a friendly manner. So do that. So we are going to create the first chain at the start, like initial prompt template, and it's going to be prompt template. We will say input variables is going to be question, and next template is going to be please provide an answer to the following question, and then we will say question is going to be like question, and we will give the answer like this. Also, one thing we need to do is we are going to add those like this and also in here. So we are good to go right now. Also, let's add this in here, and now I'm going to create this initial chain like initial chain, and it's going to be large language model chain. We are going to specify the large language model, and we are going to give the prompt like initial prompt template. Great. So let's create the second chain. So it's going to be like friendly prompt template, and we will use prompt template in here. We are going to say input variables is going to be, actually I'm going to write with lowercase letters, input variables is going to be answer, and then we will say template is going to be reformat. Actually, let's start with this, and we will say reformat the following answer in a friendly and engaging way. So we will say answer is going to be like answer, and this is going to be it. Then we are going to create our friendly chain, like friendly chain is going to be large language model chain. We are going to specify the large language model, and we will give the prompt like friendly prompt like this, and our chains are ready. So we will say question, let's say like for example, how do I plant a tree? So actually I'm going to add codes to it. So at the first step I will say initial answer, and it's going to be initial chain dot run and with question like this. And also let's see our initial answer of when it runs. So it says to plant a tree follow these steps, and it just talks about the steps. And now we will say, like, let's clear this out. We will give it to the second chain, like friendly answer is going to be friendly chain dot run initial answer, and we can print the friendly chain like this. And actually we will say friendly answer, my bad. So our friendly answer is, hey there, ready to plant a tree? Follow these simple steps. So you can see the difference clearly, I think. So it's really different with the initial answer. Let's also print the initial answer. I'm not going to read all of that, that was boring in the last example, but we can see that it really changed and it seems really good. Great. So let's talk about our last topic for the video, using memory with chains. Memory in LangChain allows the chain to retain and utilize information across multiple interactions. This can be useful for maintaining context or remembering previous user inputs. Like if you are going to design a chatbot, then it can be really useful. LangChain has different types of memory, such as short-term memory and long-term memory, which can help in different scenarios. Let's use the conversation memory as an example. So I will say from LangChain, the chains import conversation chain, and next we are going to do from LangChain.memory import conversation buffer memory, and we are going to initialize the memory like conversation memory is going to be conversation buffer memory, and we are going to create a chain that utilizes the memory like conversation chain, and it's going to be conversation chain like this. And I'm going to make this run. Actually we are going to give like large language model is going to be large language model, memory is going to be conversation memory in here, and now we are good to go. And let's do an example, like let's say input 1, and it's going to be hello, can you tell me about LangChain? So I'm going to make it run, and I will say response 1 is going to be conversation chain dot run, and we will give user input 1, and let's print response 1. Of course, LangChain is a decentralized platform that uses blockchain technology to facilitate secure and transparent language translation services. It was founded in 2017 by a team of language experts and blockchain developers. This platform allows users to request translations in real time and connects them with a network and skilled translators from around the world. Payments for translations are made using the platform's native cryptocurrency, LangChain. Okay, so by the way, I'm not sure if it's talking about the library that we are using, so let's do like LangChain, and let's say like the platform for the framework, let's say the framework for developing AI apps, and let's do like this, and I'm going to make it run as I mentioned before. So it remember the last response, so I think it's true, and let's clear its like memory. For clearing its memory, we will say conversation memory, and we will say clear, and we are going to clear its history. Then let's do like make them run again, and let's see our response. So certainly LangChain is a blockchain. Okay, it gives from 0, so it's working smoothly. So it defines the LangChain, and I'm going to test if it remembers the previous response it gave, like input 2 is going to be, and how is it different from other frameworks. So in here I'm not telling anything about LangChain, and if it's remembering it, if the memory is working, then it needs to understand that we are going to talk about LangChain, and generate the response in that way. So I will say response 2 is going to be conversation chain dot run user input 2, and I will say print response 2. And it says LangChain also stands out for its community-driven approach, so it remembers LangChain smoothly. Great. So let's summarize what we did in this video, and then we can close the video. So I imported LangChain, I showed you the version. This is how we can install it. We talked about prompt template, chains, and OpenAI. We initialized our model. We just removed the warnings, and here is the most basic prompt template example. And this is our first chain, and in here we made our chain run. We tested it in here, then we created a little bit complex prompt in here, then it worked successfully. Next, we created how we can combine two chains as an example. Here is our two chains. Next, what we did is in here it worked successfully, and we talked about the memory and the conversation chain, and we tested if it's remembering our previous response, and we saw that it's remembering. Great. Let's get to the outro. Thanks for watching this tutorial on LangChain chains. I'm sharing new data science videos every week. You can subscribe to my channel for more. I have a playlist for AI and LangChain tutorials. You can reach that playlist from the cards of this video. Have a great day.